This is where everything you've learned, everything you've dreamt about is on the line.
4 Irishmen out of the 8 at this table. And that's about what the event is. Half Irish, half outsiders. And Melwani here, with the blinds going up, he's got 200,000, Parg. What do you think his intentions are going to be?
Pass.
Well, you know, it gets tough at this stage of the tournament. You know, you've got to stop thinking about getting to the final table and start thinking about getting to the final table with some chips.
Not a huge raise. It's up to 35,000, and McCabe with 2 overcards. He's got a couple of ways to play this.
Call.
Enough for duty. And the Wolf has had 1.5 million. He could afford to call with a lot of hands here, Parg, to peel off a flop.
Certainly with this one. I think. What do you give the man who has everything? More. Well, if he's going to pick his nose first and then make a decision, pretty sure what it's going to be. You know, it's not fair. This guy's good enough without the card. When you give him the cards, it's
raised to 125,000.
Well, a very polite raise from the Wolf. 125 to play, which is an all-or-nothing decision, basically.
25.
For Danny McHugh. Glenn McCabe has more options. It's about 90,000 on McHugh. I mean, he's got around 250 right now sitting there. Is there any argument for calling to see if he hits a 5, or is it all in or nothing?
I think it's all in or nothing. He's got luckily for McHugh, he's got enough chips that he can pass this and not be left naked. You know,
you were talking about the squeeze play earlier, Parg. Could these guys think that's in effect here?
It certainly could. If I was sitting in McHugh's position, I'd be assuming that the Wolf didn't have anything as powerful as 2 queens and stick it all in at the 2 5s, but that might explain why I'm in the commentary box and not down there.
McHugh has shown good discipline and patience thus far in the tournament, and it serves him well here, folding up shop. But it's 90,000 on McCabe. And the problem with ace-jack, Parg, is he could hit his ace and still be in trouble.
All in?
You know, the thing I like about no, you can't fault McCabe for this. You know, the Wolf has been running all over this table. McCabe has got every justification in thinking that this is an all-in. The Wolf will pass, and we'll get on with the next hand.
There's no chance that the Wolf is going to fold here, Parg. But the good news for McCabe is that his ace is live, and this man from Lurgan just needs to catch a card here to have a massive stack.
You know, I like the way McCabe has played from what we've seen. He seems to be a pretty cool customer.
He really does.
Bit of a lesson there for beginners. You know, he does stop and think before he acts.
And there's the ace! Lurgan with the long call to because, and unless the queen comes, Parg, the dynamics of this table are going to change.
Well, this could be the first hit we've seen the Wolf take today.
Just in case one wasn't enough, 3 aces. And smile.
That's the first time he smiled all day.
You mentioned he is a cool customer. Look at that. He didn't pump his fist. He didn't do a lap of the table. He's just smiled, kept his head down, and taken the chips. But you know he must be pumping on the inside.
$16,000 to call. Pass.
Melwani, Parg. I wonder if he's... Yeah, he might be a forced all in.
But it might have been a forced all in. But the 2 jacks help as well. And lucky for Melwani, he's got them. Yeah. He may have been prepared to move there with anything, and you couldn't blame him.
191,000.
In fact, it'd be encouraged in some circles.
It's a short stack, but it would do Mizzi a bit of damage if he calls and loses.
Re-raise, all in.
I imagine we'll clear out the chuff.
There's
a straight race for Melwani.
It wouldn't begrudge it to Melwani that he win this pot. You know, he did lose a bit of a chunk to Paul Dooley without doing anything wrong in a reasonably big pot a while back.
Still nothing wrong. Westmead, but Toronto Canada. You know, a lot of guys looking a lot younger than they are. Mizzi's only 20 years old. It's easy to forget. He's been around the block a couple more years than that. This is a big spot for him. There against the overs from Melwani's life in the tournament.
Good news so far.
Yep. 6 cards.
Come on, Ireland. Oops.
That's safe. Keep him down, ref. Keep him down, ref, says Melwani. Mizzi needing the bullet.
Oh, my God.
Canada.
So sadly, that is where our coverage ends on day 3. But here are the highlights as more players are sent to the rail in the quest to make the final table.
There was 11 left when Paul Zimbler, the Marbella kid, most of the damage was done by Danny McHugh, but the last of Zimbler's chips in with the ace-7, and the pocket pair for Mizzi held up on a raggedy old flop. Queens up, out.
I made a few bad plays yesterday, got away with it. I went down to 9,000 chips when the blinds were 2,000, 4,000. I made a big laydown. I bounced right back up to 300, got to 600, up and down like a roller coaster. Come down to the last hand, and I put it in with the best of it. That's all you can do.
Perhaps the best poker face in this tournament, Lurgan's Glenn McCabe had been like stone for 3 long days. But the ace on the flop, not good enough to catch up to Mizzi's 2 pairs. And out in 10th, Glenn gets 26,000 euros.
This morning I hit some hands, and I progressed from that. And then I made an absolute mess of the last hand.
Internet qualifier Finneran knows there's always a young Scandinavian in the form of Peter Eastgate. He was doing great, but his ace-7 got kippered up by the ace-king of Finneran. And Peter Eastgate out in 9th position.
Been up and downs, and just before the final table, I got my aces cracked, and well, after that I didn't recover, so I went out on ace-7.
Paul Dooley perhaps made the move of the tournament, but late last night he moved on Mizzi again. The flush draw. Top pair for Sorel Mizzi, and there was 2 cards to come. Humpity Thump Thump and Paul Dooley. What a run he had, but missed and matched.
It's the biggest tournament I've played so far in my life, so no, I played well now actually for the first good few hours there. Probably pushed a bit too hard there with the 2 hearts, but I didn't think he had the 9, so I thought he couldn't call.
The final 7 came back at the crack of dawn, and Roland DeWolf, who was on 300,000, began his roller coaster ride to the top. I'm in, he says, with the ace-king, and the race was on when the bullet hit the board on the turn. This is how Roland came right back into form. Had gotten very big by the time Finneran found the ace, only to run into a bulldozer behind him. A little help on the flop, but Roland too strong, and this Paddy last qualifier out in 7.
Well, like I've got 600k, the blinds are 300, 600, like any ace. I have to push, so I push and run into a big hand, hope to take down the blind. That's the way it goes. I've had a great tournament, yeah, I really enjoyed it.
We had 708, now we're down to 6. And this is the table where the champion will be crowned. To the ones that failed, there's always next year. But for these 6, there's the first prize of 650,000 euros and a mighty fine trophy to play for. So join me and Jessie next time for the grand finale of the 2007 PaddyPowerPoker.com Irish Open.